Hi guys, and welcome back to 20 Questions With. And today we've got a very special guest who is an F1 performance coach from McLaren. So please welcome Michael Italiano. Hi Michael, how are you?
Hey Becca, I'm fantastic, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Like I said, a little bit raspy. We're getting there. So are you ready for the quick fire round?
Yeah, hit me. Let's do it.
It's not too scary, I promise.
All right.
So first off, your favourite car?
Porsche 911.
Good choice. And your favourite track?
Spa.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Your go-to three-course meal?
Go-to three-course meal. Okay. Oh geez, these are supposed to be quick answers, aren't they? I've got two courses. I just don't know what I'd start with. Damn, what would I start with?
This is what catches everyone out.
Okay. Starter, mac and cheese, main, dirty American burger. And then for dessert, I'd go a chocolate fondant.
Good choices. And your most inspirational driver?
Daniel.
Close to home.
Yeah, of course.
And if you had to choose another sport that isn't motorsport, what would it be?
NBA.
And are you a morning or evening person?
Morning.
And your go-to hobby?
I'm going to say it used to be golf, but I haven't played much. So it's kind of like I'd be lying if I said it, but usually my main hobby was golf. But to be honest, like the gym is my hobby. Like that's probably the most consistent thing I do.
It's a good choice. It's a good hobby to have. And
yeah, it keeps me away from like it takes my mind off Formula One. So it's technically my hobby.
Brilliant. And the scariest thing you've ever done?
Scariest thing I've done. Jeez. We're on the spot here, Becca. Can I come back to this one?
We can do.
Unless this is the last question.
There's one more question after this, and we'll do that one, which is again even harder. If you had to describe yourself in one word, what would that word be?
Risk taker. We'll make that one word.
We'll put a hyphen in the middle.
Yeah, we'll put the hyphen in the middle.
We can come back round to the scariest now.
Scariest thing I've done. Jeez. Honestly, it doesn't sound as scary to many people, but I have a fear of heights. So yeah, I think I went when I was a little bit younger. I went to Queensland and I went to one of the theme parks and I went on this massive roller coaster. I can't remember what it was called, but anyways, a roller coaster. I've done a couple of roller coasters. That's literally the scariest thing I've ever done in my life because I have a fear for heights, and I was petrified on the roller coaster.
So you don't find like the acceleration and the thrill of it then, like from motorsport, you're not as keen as it if it's any high up?
Oh, look, there's a thrill for sure, but there's also a very, very big element of being scared.
That's what makes it fun, though.
For some.
For some. Well, you survived the 10 questions. We got there in the end.
Yeah, sorry they weren't quick and sharp. They were just yeah, couple got me.
It does. I absolutely love the three-course meal one because it surprises everyone. You start to see them trying to think what they'd go for, and it's really interesting actually hearing everyone's choices.
Cool. Yeah. And I like burger is like my number one thing, and chocolate fondue. So like I was just trying to think of like what I'd start with. So yeah, I was glad I found that.
I was going to say, I'm going to be very difficult when people actually turn around and ask me these questions. Dessert, I'm a full dessert person. Anything chocolate, I love because I run a chocolate business. So anything chocolate, and
wow.
I'm
Awesome.
So
yeah, I'm gonna like go back and see if I've done anything scarier or like have a cooler story that I've done scarier. But yeah, I'll let you know.
You'll have to drop me an email with that. We could just add it in at the end.
Yeah, that baffled me. All right.
We're going now a bit more onto topic about motorsport. We've got the 10 more in-depth questions. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
A bit easier.
Okay.
So what actually got you into motorsport right at the beginning?
Daniel got me into motorsport. I was a massive I have a massive passion for health and fitness, and I love every sport. I have a massive appreciation for every sport. And I followed Formula One because of Daniel, because, I was following his journey. Never thought I'd be in it. And Daniel, at the end of 2017, offered me the job.
Oh, wow. So you sort of, like you say, follow the journey and then joined in on it, really?
Yeah, correct. Spot on. So yeah, I didn't really, yeah, you could say timing was great. You could say I was lucky, but yeah, that's pretty much how it transpired.
Definitely. And I don't think they would have brought you into it unless they thought you were more than capable, which obviously you are.
Yeah, Daniel, he knew what I was doing back in Perth with my coaching, and yeah, there was an element of trust there, and he wanted me to come on board, and I was more than happy to come on board and pursue my coaching career within Formula One, and it's been amazing since.
Never looked back since.
No, never looked back.
Amazing. And over those past 4 years, I'm doing maths now, and also a little bit before when you're starting to get into it, what different barriers have you experienced and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, massive barriers. I was, had a regular routine living in Perth, and just wake up, go to the gym, train your clients, come home, and all of a sudden I'm packing up, I'm moving to Europe, and I'm on a flight every 7 days into a different country. So yeah, the barriers were just getting used to this completely new, different lifestyle, which I know it sounds so glamorous and amazing, but you're living out of a suitcase, you're alone a lot, and you're sacrificing seeing, your loved ones, your friends, your family for a very long time. So there was just, I guess, the adjustment was the biggest barrier.
Do you find you're still adjusting to that now, or does it sort of become more normal?
No, it's now more normal to me. I don't think you can ever adjust being away from family and friends. I think you're always going to miss that. From what my experience anyways, is that doesn't change. Saying goodbye is always hard. So I think that's just something I'm just going to have to deal with, and something that's just part of the journey that you need to sacrifice if you want to continue on this Formula One journey. So yeah, I've accepted it. And but the lifestyle itself definitely gets a lot easier once you understand what works for you.
It's almost finding your own routine within that new lifestyle, isn't it? And getting used to it and just finding your feet a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Finding what works, what doesn't work. And we touched on before in the quick questions, is like finding a hobby that you can do, anywhere. And that's why I said the gym, because no matter where I am, how jet lagged I am, or how lonely I might feel, I can always go to the gym, sweat it out, and feel good after it. So yeah.
Great. You don't fancy taking up knitting then on the plane?
No, not anything. I mean, I have a Kindle, so I read. I guess you could call reading a bit of a hobby. Yeah, but back in Perth, when the weather permits, Perth weather is really good. I played golf a lot. UK doesn't allow me to play golf that much because it's always raining. But
unless it's crazy golf. Have you tried that?
Yeah, true. But I'd love to get back into golf, because I think that was a nice way to spend some time outdoors, and also it's socially it's great.
Yeah, brilliant. And over the past few years you've been involved in F1 particularly, have you seen there be many changes, and especially towards women in the sport?
Towards women, I mean, you say changes, like when I came in to Formula One, there already were a lot of women in the paddock as it was. So yes, I know people may think, well, Formula One is known as a stereotypical men's sport because all the drivers are male. So I get that. But if you park the drivers to the side, there's actually a lot of females in the paddock. So I don't think it's changed from that sense since I've been there. I think there's just more and more females coming into more senior roles, which is great. The biggest obvious change is the introduction of the W Series. So, giving females the opportunity to compete. And who knows, maybe one day a female will be in Formula One, and we can say that, yes, there has been a big change. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've seen, is just obviously from a competitive point of view, the W Series is the obvious one. I've seen a massive change, and it's been great seeing female drivers pursue their racing career in the W Series, but also in the lower series, trying to actually make the W Series. I think there's a lot of females now giving it a go. And I think it's amazing.
I think a lot of it as well is to do with the media coverage of it. There's now a huge increase on media footage. So whereas, like you say, there has always been females in there, they might not necessarily been focused on, but now there's social media out there. There's a lot of a push to say, oh, hold on, there is women in there. So it comes across as it's improved, but it's actually not as significant as the media portrays.
Yeah, you could say that for sure.
Brilliant. And out of all the different parts of the job, what is your favorite?
The travel. It's I have a love-hate with travel, because there's obviously some periods of the calendar where you're doing triple headers and you're just like, oh, I just can't wait to get off this plane. But also I do like being on the go. That's just who I am. I'm not a couch sitter where I like to sit on the couch and just binge all day. So I do love the travel because it gives me the opportunity to either extend a holiday onto wherever I am, or just experience, different cultures, year in, year out, which I completely love doing. I'm a massive foodie as well. So, going to places like Japan, Mexico, Brazil, where you can just get amazing, like, cultured food is something I think is one of the, best simple pleasures you can have in life.
Amazing. And what's actually been your favorite place to go to so far from all the F1 races on the calendar?
If we're talking like around the F1 event, it's definitely Austin, Texas. I just love how fun and vibrant, and the barbecue. It's just an amazing place. If I was talking country, I'm probably going to say Japan. I've been, we go to quite a few places in Japan, but I end up doing a holiday like through Kyoto and Tokyo. And then I think the race is in Nagoya, I think. Geez, I should know that. I'm pretty sure it's in Nagoya. Or around there. Suzuka is like near Nagoya. Sorry, we land in Nagoya.
We'll let you off.
Yeah, sorry. But I love Japan. I love the culture. I love everything about it.
Amazing. So when looking at training for F1 motorsport, all the different grassroots, what is the best focus for training, eating, all that side of things?
For a motorsport athlete?
Yes.
Yeah, I think obviously the main one is the neck, keeping your neck strong. Obviously, depending what category you're in, the faster the car, the more G-force we're going to experience. So keeping the neck fit and keeping your cardiovascular fitness and up for sure. I think you need to be very fit to control the car, fight the car, and obviously endure the G-force that comes with racing. There's actually, like, the thing is with racing, there's three key elements. It's your cardio fitness, your necks, and also your muscular endurance. So you need to be strong as well, throughout your posterior chain. So there's actually three key elements where I'd probably work on if I was a race driver. And from a nutrition aspect, I guess just carbohydrate timing is very important around competitions, and also your hydration protocol around competitions as well is very important. They're probably the two main things I would focus on. If we're just going to be quite vague with it, I think they're the key aspects.
Key areas of focus.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And out of all the different memories you've had working with McLaren, even just in PT for motorsport, what has been your favorite memory?
See, I get asked this, and like the obvious one is Monaco win 2018. That was just incredible. But to be honest, my first ever race in Melbourne 2018 on the grid was a pinch me moment. That's probably the biggest pinch me moment, because here I was in Formula One. It just kind of happened so quick. I'm at a home race. They're cheering Daniel, and that was just insane. To be honest, I don't really remember that much, because I was just such a blur, because I was just spinning out. But I've got a couple of photos of me on the grid, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely was. I was definitely on cloud nine.
Trying to feel like it wasn't just a dream.
Yeah. It just, like, that weekend just flew by. It was just trying to absorb everything it was pretty difficult.
Do you find the home races then are definitely the most important and the most close to your heart almost, with it being the first one and so on?
Yeah, the home race will always be closest to our heart. I think, that's, it's where we live, it's where we come from, and that's where we're most loved. So you feel the extra love when you go there. So yeah, it definitely is. I think it's no surprise to anyone that they probably know that it is probably one of our most loved races, but also it can be a difficult race too, because Daniel's schedule ends up being completely packed, and it ends up being a very, very busy race for him. So technically preparation for the race is actually not that great, but yeah, like I said, you feel plenty of love from Australians when we go there, and we're very appreciative of that.
Amazing. And looking forward into the future, what are your aspirations within F1 and motorsport?
I want to win a world championship with Daniel. That's first and foremost. And to be honest, I haven't looked any further than that. I don't really want to look any further than that. Where do I see myself in 5 years' time? I still want to be a professional coach, whether it's in Formula One, who knows, maybe it's NBA. I'd love to be an NBA. I'd also love to, maybe look into tennis or NFL. They're the other sports that I love. But, if you told me that I'm going to be in Formula One for the next 10 years, I'd be very, very happy with that.
Yeah, amazing. And do you think it's going to happen with McLaren and Daniel? That's the question.
I do.
We're rooting for you all.
Thank you.
I must admit, McLaren is my favourite team. Obviously, Formula Woman, it will be racing McLaren, so it's all kind of comes around full circle almost, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's good to know.
And so moving forward, looking from, obviously you do different sports, from just general one-to-one coaching, looking at tennis, NBA, and also F1, how do the disciplines with training change, or are they all quite a similar baseline?
No, I think there's very, very different sport-specific training that you could do for any sport. I think training a basketball or training tennis players is a lot different to a Formula One driver, for sure. There's obviously elements in Formula One that don't necessarily count for a tennis player or a basketball player, and vice versa. So yeah, there'd be a lot different. But yeah, look, the fundamentals are kind of similar because they are an athlete, but there'd be a lot more emphasis on, I guess, athletic and explosiveness and agility when it comes to tennis and NBA, where we're not really training for that in Formula One.
Yeah. And obviously there's a huge thing where a lot of people that don't understand the physicality of driving, especially F1 level, F1 drivers and all drivers are athletes. And what's your take to someone that does turn around and say, oh, they're not an athlete, it's not a proper sport?
I think those people are just uneducated, on the sport, and that's no disrespect to them. It's just they just don't know enough about the sport and what these athletes actually physically and mentally endure over a race. So yeah, I don't take it to heart. Or I had my university lecturer tell me that he's like, oh, Formula One's not a sport, do you want to get into a debate? And I was like, if we get into a debate, you're going to lose, because I know, because but he didn't follow Formula One, but he had this strong opinion about it. So yeah, I take it with a pinch of salt. And if people say that, I assume that they just don't know enough about the sport and what these athletes actually have to experience during a 2-hour race.
Definitely. I know even from a bog standard track day in a quite easygoing car, it's still so tiring, because all the concentration, the physical aspects of fighting with a car. So you can imagine, as the levels go up and up and up, how much more physical and demanding it is, really. Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of parameters, and one is G-force, the other is the core body temperature within a car, so hydration, and then they've got so much complex cognitive abilities that they need to perform throughout a race as well. So there's plenty to look at there, and I just think sometimes people tend to relate racing with their daily commute to work in their car, and think, oh, if this driving on the freeway is easy. How's it so physical for them? And so yeah, maybe not, but I think it's because you can't relate to Formula One. It's, if you want to relate to football or basketball, you can go shoot some hoops and see how hard it is to actually, nail a 3-pointer or kick a football. So I just think with Formula One, it's so hard to relate to. You just can't relate to it, which is why people have these opinions, I guess.
Definitely. Like you say, they haven't experienced it, so they don't quite understand directly until they actually get in a car on a track and say drive around for 2 hours and see how you feel at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. They won't be able to feel their neck or their forearms, and they'll be asking for a big cold glass of water after it.
I know for me, I always end up with bruises everywhere somehow, because I've got the Lotus, there's no power steering, and where the chassis sits, it's right where your leg leans. And I always end up with a massive bruise from where the weight of the car and myself is just leaning on one side, depending which way the track is. And it's just, people are like, how did you get that? And they don't quite understand actually how severe it can be.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite common, but yes, that's correct.
It's all good fun. It's all why we enjoy it.
That's right.
So second to last question now, we're nearly there. What are the main 3 qualities do you think make a good driver, whether that's F1 or sort of lower down through the ranks?
Good question. I've never been asked that question. I'm going to say mental resilience.
Got something new.
Yeah, I'm going to say mental resilience. Very cliche, but I'm going to say hard work. I think a lot of people think they're working hard, but they don't know what hard work actually is. And the third would be the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is because these cars change every year. So every year the car feels different because there's new regulations, or you're in a new team, and you need to have the skill and the talent to adapt very, very quickly, because if you don't, there's 1,000 other drivers willing to take your spot. And I guess that kind of stems in with hard work and mental resilience when things aren't going your way.
Definitely. And do you think, obviously for yourselves, you've not long moved from Renault to McLaren, do you think there's been quite a nice transition there, or it's been like a little bit challenging?
It's been a little bit difficult because of COVID. So, and what I mean by that is we're in like particular bubbles. So my bubble is me and Daniel. And what that means is we technically can't sit next to other staff members when we eat lunch or breakfast or dinner. It's just, you stay within that bubble. I have to travel with Daniel. So getting to like meet like your new members of the team and trying to get to know them, it has been difficult. Like we haven't been able to go for team dinners and, try and get to know each other a lot more, boost a bit of morale. So that's been the challenge. But again, hopefully when life's normal, we can get back to that. But I think the team's done an amazing job, helping us fit in with all those difficult constraints that we've had this year. And yeah, obviously we won 3 weeks ago. So, we can say that, it maybe the first half of the season, it wasn't going to plan, but, we're starting to see progress now.
Amazing. And that, as a bit of a side question, obviously being such good friends and now working together and being in a bubble, do you ever get fed up of each other?
I mean, I'll probably say yes, but at the same time, like we do spend quite a bit of time away from each other as well. Like he has his personal life, I have mine. So, if we are getting fed up with each other within 1 or 2 days, we're out of each other's hair anyway. So, I can't say like we fight or anything like that. I think, if anything, if we're frustrated with each other, we probably just laugh about it and be like, man, I cannot wait to jump on that flight and be away from you.
Go away now.
Yeah. I think we're pretty open to tell each other that.
Best way to be.
Yeah.
So the very, very last question, you've nearly made it all. For anyone out there looking to get into, whether that be performance coaching or motorsport in general, what is your best advice for them?
I'd say go for it, for sure. I'd say do your research. And I'd also say be open-minded, because I personally feel you can't really prepare yourself for this job. I tried to, and it always became more than what you actually imagined. So I'd say be open-minded, because the nomad life of living in a suitcase, it sounds cool and looks cool in your head, but there are a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to make. So yeah, I just say be open-minded, but if you're pursuing that within Formula One, or whether it's motorsports or being a coach, I'd say go for it, because it's an amazing, rewarding job. And it can be priceless at times when you can help people achieve their dreams, pretty much.
Amazing. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's seeing those people succeed, and it gives yourself a little bit of a warm feeling that it's like, I helped towards that.
Yeah, exactly right. We're not here for a good time. We're here to win. So that's what we're here to do. And I'll do everything in my capabilities to help Daniel get there.
Amazing. Well, that's all 20. We made it.
Wicked. Sounds good.
Not too scary, I hope.
No, not at all. That was awesome. That's good. Thank you. Good questions.
But thank you ever so much for being my guest, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks, Becca. Appreciate it. It was nice to speak to you.
Thank you, and you. So you guys know the drill. To make my journey your journey, like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.